Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and today I'm going to review the Amazon exclusive Hardy Boys 2-pack. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. And welcome back. Like I said, today I, like many others, have gotten the Amazon exclusive Hardy Boys 2-pack here, Matt and Jeff Hardy 2-pack. Actually, I don't know if it says, I don't think they're allowed to say Hardy Boys. So it just says, yeah, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, tag team pack. And I was very excited for this because it's the Hardy Boys. I rarely pass up a Hardy Boys figure, let alone Jeff, but even Matt has grown a lot on me. As I've become an older wrestling fan, realizing how creative Matt was as well. Like everyone loves Jeff, but Matt got not a lot of I won't say negative heat. He wasn't Jeff, so he wasn't as popular growing up. But a lot of people really appreciated him as Broken Matt, and I always loved Matt Hardy version 1. I thought he was hilarious. But in their old age, them kind of like pulling gimmicks out here and there, I'm more excited for their figures and their in-ring prowess, and I was pumped for these. So had this pre-ordered a long time ago. A lot of people got it got it on Monday, I believe. Mine showed up here Tuesday morning, and I was excited to open them. And I have some thoughts, so let's get to it. So just looking at them both, I honestly just want to get the negatives out of the way, because I feel like all I do, I don't really review Jazzwares figures. I don't order them. It's not worth, a lot of the time, it's not worth pre-ordering them on Ringside, because they end up being so cheap, and I can't justify paying like the $27.99 or something when I know 6 months down the line I'm going to be able to get something for like 13, 14, like so many figures. There's some stuff that will go up in price, but for the most part, almost all of them you can pick up really cheap down the line. So also, and like distribution for AEW is a mess. It's just really frustrating. Like this line, I feel like has shown so much potential, and like we see renders, we see future lineups, and it just is disappointment after disappointment. So I want to get the cons out of the way for this, because like I said, I don't want to just be negative. I have kind of a few issues with these, but I can barely articulate this. So here's the Jeff torso. I move it forward just a tiny bit, it pops off. With the Matt one, when I took it out of the box, it immediately came unattached at the middle part of the torso. And I've said before, I like the way that Jazzwares does their crotch pieces, because I like how the torso kind of sits down in there, so it looks like they're wearing the pants instead of just having it connect right here with Mattel. But it's just something about it, like I don't know if they need to make the peg longer. The articulation just doesn't come with that piece the way I expected it to. Like when I saw these, I thought it was going to be like Ultimate Edition, where you had a little more movability with that top there, but the top is typically pretty tight, and it is for both of these, and if you really try to push it at all, it pops off. So that's frustrating. The general size of these guys is pretty big, which I don't know if we can contribute that to just Jazzwares, or if it's like Jeremy Padawer, who oversaw Jax, like some of those figures, especially Deluxe Aggression, just were humongous, and we saw that with Jax with their TNA figures, and it kind of is like that's what's been happening with AEW. So I do have I have some comparisons. So Jeff Hardy, according to the internet, is 6'1". Matt Hardy is 6'2", so about the same, depending on like their hair and everything. Their boots, they might be the same, and you can see like these are about the same. The Matt Hardy legs are molded differently. These three all have the same, and just by themselves in a vacuum, I think these look awesome. I think they look really good. I don't know, I've seen some people not love this matte head sculpt, and I think it looks pretty good. I think it fits well. I think the Jeff Hardy is awesome. That sculpt is, the paint's not too bad. I've seen some people have not great quality on theirs, but like I like this one quite a bit with all the tattoos and everything, which we do have on here. But then we grabbed the Supreme Sting, and Sting I feel like or Supremes, I feel like typically run a little bit larger. So Sting is 6'3". So here are the Hardys, who are 6'1" and 6'2", and here is Sting in the middle, who they are clearly taller than, even including his hair and everything. They're just so much bigger than Sting, and I did feel like when I reviewed this Sting, it was a little bit smaller, which I felt like they were adjusting the scale, and I don't know when they worked on these Hardys. Maybe these Hardys were before they started working on Sting, but I'm not happy with the scale, and I don't just expect them to be in the same scale as Mattel. Like that's not feasible to just demand that they make all their, like every wrestling figure company makes their figures in scale with Mattel, but I feel like that's the main wrestling line most people collect. And if you've got figures that are way out of scale, like the Claudio, I know it just, you don't want to put them in the same collection because they don't fit. So here's Mattel's Jeff, and I do like their leg mold more. I think this is a little too skinny, and I don't hate the proportions, it's just like the total size I'm not a fan of. So there's Jeff and his Mattel counterpart, and then of course we've got this Matt. I guess I could have compared it with the version 1 that's more accurate to like his pants that he was wearing and everything, but there's the Mattel Matt, and I think this is a good likeness. I think that they've done a good job with the likenesses. Just the build that they use for the Hardys I don't love. So that's about it as far as negatives. I could talk about articulation some more. The staining, I don't even want to look. Like, yep, it's stained on the side. It's what I expected. I don't know about this Jeff with the net shirt and everything, but none of this was necessarily shocking. It's still just frustrating though, because at some point you feel like they're gonna fix it, and they just keep pumping out figures with the same issue. So I know that was quite a bit of negative, but I have a lot of stuff about these that I do like, and I'm not upset about the 2-pack. Just kind of like had those weird frustrations. Sorry, I have one more negative. We didn't get any extra hands. So we've got 2 sets of Hardy Boy gun hands. The fingers are bent to hell from the packaging, so like Jeff's hand isn't even close to straight, and we didn't get any extra hands. So I know a lot of people like the Hardy Boys, and I don't know how readily available their Jazwares figures are, but if this was the only set you could get, you don't have any neutral hands, which is very frustrating to me. Now I'm going to move on, because there are a lot of things that I do like. First off, the attires I think look fantastic. Like I said, I really like the leg mold. I think this is much more fitting for the Hardy Boys than what we get from Mattel. I like that it's more baggy all the way down. With Mattel, you've got the legs that are kind of like skinny at the knees and then flare out a little more. I think this is a little more accurate. It looks better. I like the checkered belt there on Jeff. These pants are great for Matt. I think they look very good. The arms, we get the purple sleeves on here, which on the back of the packaging, I guess it is purple. It's kind of hard to tell with the Matt, with Jeff. The net shirt is awesome. That was probably my one thing that popped right away, where I was like, oh, I gotta pick this up. This looks really good. They have all of the tattoos in there. I don't want to take off the net shirt. I guess we'll just get in there close. I assume it just looks exactly the way this one does. And I was very happy with this one, so Not gonna hate on it too much there. I might end up just putting the shirt over here or something, or like, I don't know. I need maybe I'll just end up putting the skin tone hands over here so that they've got the neutral hands. This head sculpt I think looks really, really good. No complaints there. One thing I do like, I thought was pretty cool, was that they gave us actual cloth for the towel here, and they just sewed it onto the shirt. And as soon as I opened the package, I realized it was cloth, and I was wondering how they got that. And I like that idea. Like, obviously you can see it and you know that it's there, so it's not tucked in, but it's not going, I'm not gonna lose it. It's not very strong. Like, I wouldn't pull it. You could probably pull it off pretty easily, but overall I think it looks really cool. And in a vacuum, these are great figures. One of the things for me going from collecting Jakks when I was younger to Mattel, and especially now, is the swappable hands and everything. And Jaspers has those capabilities. You cannot convince me that they couldn't have put 4 hands in this box to give them neutral hands. But it is what it is. This is what we ended up getting. I just assume, like, Jazzwares gives us random hands all the time in their single packages, and I just find it hard to believe that they couldn't stretch the budget a tiny bit to give us the hands. But outside of that, with the mat here, like I said, I like this head sculpt. It's large, it fits on the body, and the body's big, so it is what it is. The shirt is I mean, it's accurate, so no issues with it. Kind of plain for a mat, but it works. Like I said, I don't have issues with it. I think it looks pretty good. I do think his other, like, broken mat figure looks better. I think this likeness is a lot better than this one is, which part of it is just kind of the style. But I still think they're both pretty good likenesses. Like, I know that's Matt Hardy right away when I look at it. With this one, like, we got a ton of hands with this, so, whoops. I'll have neutral hands for Matt. I won't have matching purple, which is a little more frustrating with Jeff, because I'm not going to have ones to match this. I've seen some people that ended up getting just plain black with him, so just a lot of issues to go around. These legs are a lot different, which is accurate. These are not the baggy legs. They're more tight, kind of like jeans. Jeans, I don't know, they're tighter than these ones, so it's accurate. And like I said, Jazzwares, it's like they've got the plan. They show us the render, and I think those look pretty good, and then we see, like, we get the we get it in person, and it's either like quality control, like the staining. Like, I don't know how many times people are going to mention staining on the figures, and it just keeps happening. But overall, I'm happy. I know there was a lot of negative, but that's stuff that, unfortunately with the Jazzwares line, I've just gotten used to. Like, I know that's going to happen. I know what I'm getting. But they've got guys that I want. They've got guys that I know I'm not getting from Mattel. I mean, maybe with the Hardys, we'll see them back in WWE, or at least on a Legends contract. But these look good, and on the shelf and next to the other AEW figures, they're probably going to look good as well. But like I said, with people we're not going to get, like I look at like MJF, the Blackpool Combat Club. I don't think we're going to get another Claudio anytime soon, and I don't really like that figure, but it goes with the rest of the club. MJF has never been with WWE, and I don't know if he ever will, so I picked up his figures. But anyway, I'd like to know what you guys think. I've seen a lot of people getting these, so I would really like to hear other people's opinions. If there's something that I didn't talk about that you either thought was a good or a pro or con, I'd like to hear that too. But if you stayed to the end, if you're on the fence about these, I think it's all about whether or not you're a big fan of the Hardys. If you're not, I think it's a pretty easy pass. I think the Jeff looks good. I think the Matt is good for a Matt figure. But like I said, if you're not a huge fan, I think it's pretty easy to pass on these. I don't know what the availability looks like on Amazon anyway, but that is going to be it for me. So I'm happy I grabbed them. I'd like to know what you guys think as well. Please continue to like, share, subscribe. I always appreciate it. And remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude out.